Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Dale's Rails, where I'll be doing part 3 in a series of videos I've been doing for the Marx and Lionel post-war era steam engines. I also have an unboxing video I will be doing for you for this session. I bought some more reefer cars, and so I thought I would just run these in with the engines that I have for this week. So grab a seat and sit back and enjoy. This is another purchase that I made at Trains, and these are some more of the, I believe these are all from the MPC era. Most of these are from the MPC era. I didn't really, look that close at it before I did the video, but some of these, at that time, they were running a special series of these. Should be 5 of these in here, I believe. I got a really good deal on these, so yeah, there's 5 of them in here. And it looks like 4 of them came with their original boxes. So we'll just start first with this one that's not in a box. It's just about as easy to undo the tape. Okay, so the first car here, I think that it's from their, I think they call it the Tobacco Road series. So yeah, this is a Camel cigarette boxcar. It looks to be in really good shape. Everything's intact on it. The couplers seem to be working really good for play. Yeah, they both still operate, so that's good. Operate like new, really. And then the boxcar looks new. So that's kind of a neat car. I know it's smoking, but to me it's about the history. So even though it's not something that I would condone, it's part of history. And this car is the gold medal flower. They're not all tobacco cars, so these cars are just pretty neat. I kind of like them. They're just they're really colorful and they got good graphics on them. This is the gold medal flower boxcar, or reefer, I'm sorry. And this one appears to be a wood-sided reefer. The camel car, it's kind of hard to tell. I think this might be well, this is actually a boxcar, so it's not a reefer. But the gold medal flower car is a reefer car. It's still a billboard style car. And then this one is Hills Brothers Coffee. It's a nice looking car. Very, all these colors on here are bright. So this is a wood-sided reefer. This next one is it's a reefer also. Arm and Hammer billboard reefer. This is the Arm and Hammer. Almost really kind of a reverse color theme of the Hills Brother car. So that's the Arm and Hammer car. And the last car here was, it's a pretty sharp looking car too. This is Swift Premium Billboard reefer car. It's a pretty sharp car. Silver and black. It's really shiny silver, so I don't know if this may be considered a metal reefer car. I don't think this would be a wood-sided with that shiny looking paint on it. Something else I wanted to share with you guys before I forget here. When I was at the train museum, they had these prints. I got all these for less than $10. That kind of surprised me, and I'm going to take these down and have them framed. Probably go down to Hobby Lobby. I think they're going to have their sale next week on picture frames, and most of these should fit right into a standard picture frame, so that shouldn't be a problem getting these framed up without doing like custom framing or something. But all these engines are shot here in Kansas, and I just thought that these were nice representations of steam engines. And there's that one, and this is just a picture of part of the steam engine, but I kind of liked it too. And they were giving me a good buy if I bought a group of them. So, and then this one here is really a sharp picture. This is engine 3768 that was sitting on the top of the Douglas Street overpass there. And I'm going to get this framed up and set this over my fireplace mantle down here in the basement. So I thought I'd share these with you guys just to let you know if you happen to go by there. Don't hesitate to ask about some prints that they've got up in there. I mean, these were displayed in the museum there on the lower level, and I just happened to ask him if they had copies of those prints, and he said, yeah, they sure do, and they will sell you some. So I just wanted to share these with you. Up first here on the upper inner loop is the Marx 999, and on the outer loop is the 333. This version of the 333 is non-smoking, and of course they never made a smoking 999, at least not to my knowledge. And if you notice, I've paired these up with the tin plate cars with the scale 3/16 inch trucks. And, these sets were sold with the tin plate cars. I believe it was 1953, and these engines were produced after the 50s, and I believe it was after 53 Marx got away from making the tin plate cars and focused on plastic, but there is information that they believe that Marx made the tin plate cars clear up to the end. But the 999 there, it's a Columbia type. It did have a 2-position reverse unit. That particular model I have there is missing the rear set of trucks, so that should be a 242 Columbia. And it was the first die-cast Marx engine. It did have a long production time. There's 7 variations. There's one with the open spoke pilot, and this all has to do with the front pilot, or the plow or the cow catcher, whatever you want to call it. It had the an embossed spoke pilot. It had the raised rivet pilot, and that's this version here. It had flush rivet pilot. Some of them had the Marx logo on the cab, and some had no Marx logo. And there was a plastic 999 version. So this is the die-cast version. These had a production span, I believe, from 1940 all the way up to 1953, I believe, was the last year these were produced. And the tin plate cars there, I think it'd be good to bring this around. Now these were single reduction motors, and you know, this little engine pulls fairly good for no more than it is. So we'll see here. You notice it come with the Wedge Tender, and directly behind the Wedge Tender there is the little hopper that I bought at a train show that I tried to reach out to see if anybody knew. I know Marx did not make that in the four-wheel trucks. I think it was just a four-wheel car only. It kind of looked like an ore car, whoever did that, and I was kind of wondering what they used to modify that. And what I found, I believe what they did use is the tender, like that Wedge Tender there. They just used the frame and trucks off of a Wedge Tender and created that little car. So that is not a version, a tin plate that Marx ever produced. I mean, it is a Marx. Everything's Marx on it. It's just they never produced it that way. And then behind that is the Union Pacific Challenger box car. And then you see there the New York, New Haven, and Hartford box car. And then behind that is the Pacemaker box car, the Pennsylvania box car, and the Pacific Fruit Express. I did find a New York Central caboose back there with it. Maybe we can bring this on up a little bit more, get a little better look. And as far as I know, they only produced two versions of a caboose, the New York Central and the Reading, which is consisted with the 333 here. And so that's a look of the Marx tin plate cars. Got a door here open. Close these doors. And on the Santa Fe 333 here, we will bring this around. Right behind it is the Boston and Maine flat car. That's a complete flat car with load. It's in really good condition. When I got that, I was kind of tickled. The flat cars, it also has the hold down clamp with the springs that holds that load in place. If you can see right here, that's the hold down clamp. And that's one of the rare cars to come by. The flat cars are kind of hard to come by. And right behind that is the Shell tank car. And then the Niacet tank car and the City Services tank car. It's a little bit harder to come by. And then that's followed up by the Baltimore and Ohio gondola, which is a low side gondola. And then behind that is a Pennsylvania low side gondola, which I believe those are somewhat hard to come by too. And then behind that is the Lehigh Valley 4-bay hopper, and those hoppers have opening chutes at the bottom. That particular hopper there has the metal tilt couplers. In fact, all these do except for the city service tank car there. That's a city service tank car, is in really good condition. And then behind it is a rare car, which is the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe stock car. And it's in really good shape. That thing is in like new shape. Behind that is a GAEXDF box car, and it's in really good shape. And then that's the Reading, or Reading, however you want to say it. Around here we call it Reading or Reading, but I think in Pennsylvania they call that Reading. So whatever you like to call it, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter to me that much. I know when we were kids playing Monopoly, we always call it the Reading Railroad. So we didn't know any better. So hopefully I'm not offending anybody by calling it the wrong name. And but that's your two Marx consists there. 333 non-smoking version is a model that, you know, they're pretty good pullers. In my opinion, you know, I've got a couple of the 333s, both the smoking and the non-smoking. I've got several of the 666s, and in my opinion, if you want the best Marx steam puller, it's the 666 by a mile. In fact, I think this 333 non-smoking is probably a little bit better puller than my 3.3 smoking, which doesn't make sense because it has a smoke in it, which makes it a little bit heavier. You think it would pull better, and I think it has the double reduction motor. I think it's into the gearing. You know, there's a difference in the gearing of the 333 non-smoking and the 333 smoking, and it's believed, you know, that once Marx was a toy company. Once they brought out a different production line of the same models, specifically the same model, a lot of times that was the end of the old and the beginning of the new. It isn't like they went on to make non-smoking 333s after they brought out the smoking 333 in 55. So this non-smoking version, it's a 462 Pacific. It has a 2-position reverse unit. It does have a complete set of valve gear, just like the smoking version. But unlike the smoking version, if you notice there's no cab awnings over the window. It was originally came with a wedge tender like what's on the 999 there. It had single reduction motor 1948, changed to die-cast tender and metal coupler. You know, this would be the version that would come with the die-cast tender, in my opinion, as a result of reading this. 1953, like I said, there was no evidence of any 333 being produced at that time, smoking or non-smoking. Okay, up next here on the lower level, we have the two Lionel models. Inside loop is the 2046, outside loop being the 736. These two models share the same boiler. The 2046 did come in 3 versions. It came in a 2046 and a 646 1951-53. The There also was a 2056 produced of this model, 1952. That model would not have magnet traction because of the Korean War. So it's different in that regards. The 2046, 646, it's a Hudson type with the 464 wheel arrangement there. The boiler is derived from a modified 726 Berkshire. It's equipped with magnet traction, smoke unit, E unit, and a complete set of valve gear and whistle tender. There are 3 variations. Variation A has rubber stamped silver cab numbers with a 3-window cab and metal trailing trucks with a number 2046W tender with staple end trucks and magnetic coupler. That's 1950. That would be this model here. That is not the correct tender, however. That particular model has the 3-window cab and the sheet metal trailing trucks, as you can see, and it's got the rubber stamped silver cab numbers on it. Variation B, it was the same as A, except for the 2046 is heat stamped in white on the cab. That's 1951. So they would have been identical other than the white heat stamped cab numbers. Variation C, heat stamped white cab numbers with 4 cab windows. So there would be your 4 cab window model. Trailing trucks on those can either be die cast or sheet metal with plastic side frames. Tender has bar end trucks with magnetic coupler. That would have been 1953. And of course, 1952 version would have been similar to this version, only it would not have magnet traction. And then the next model here on the outer loop would be the 736. It's a 284 Berkshire. It had the longest production run of any Lionel post-war model, from 1950 to 1968. So as you can imagine, it had quite a few different changes made to it over the years. It was equipped with magnet traction. It had a smoke unit, it had an E unit, and a complete set of valve gear. The 736 had a pull bore motor rather than the open frame motor like in the 2046 there. So it's unique in the fact that it has a pull bore motor in it. And then there were several distinct changes that occurred over the production period. Number one being early issues would have 3 cab windows. 1950-51, Lionel reissued the 726RR with both 3 and 4 cabs windows. 1952, that would be your, they went back to the 726 numbering with the RR letting you know it was produced 1952 only, meaning it would not have mag traction because of the Korean War. So this early issue version is this version here would be 1950-51. I'm going to say this is probably 1950. Engines built 1950-51 have large rubber stamped cab numbers. All other issues, with the exception of some late post-war models, have smaller heat stamp numbers. So I'm going to say that's your larger numbers there. And I don't have another model to compare it with to be sure. Number 3, trailing truck was changed in 1954, where the trailing trucks changed from a die cast to sheet metal with plastic side frames. This particular model has the die cast side frames there on the rear trailing trucks. 1957, The center rail pickup assembly was changed to a shorter, smaller assembly held by a single screw. This version is not like that at all. Flag staffs appear on pilots in early issues. The earliest issue had hexagonal bases, while later issues had round bases and sometimes painted black. These extra details would be eliminated after 1956. So the flag staffs here, hopefully you guys can see, are these are the hexagonal flag staffs that they're talking about. These pilots on these two models are the same. I know that some of these pilots, if the holes aren't drilled all the way through, they are started for you, and you can drill them through and put flag staffs. It doesn't matter if it's a 736 or a 2046 like that. Quite a few of the post-war models have the provisions to add the flag staffs. I mean, I don't want to say indentation, just kind of a start of a hole, even though that they may not be drilled completely through. It's just a matter of finding the correct size bit and then finishing the holes. So you could add your flag staffs to your models if you want to. I'm looking to do that to the 736er and some of these other models. I'm looking for some American, small American flags. I haven't run across those yet. But I've been looking for a while, so I don't know if I'll ever find them. I may have to make my own. There are 5 variations of the 736 here. Variation A, I'm sorry, has silver rubber stab cab numbers and 3 cab windows, flag staffs, and die-cast trailing trucks. That's the 1950-51, so that would place that model 5051 right there. Variation B, white heat stamp cab numbers, 4 cab windows. As you can clearly see, both of these shells have 3 cab windows. They don't have the extra bar in there to make 4 cab window out of it. I do have another 2046. I believe it does have the 4 cab windows on it. I don't have it here with me, but I do have another 2046. I believe that does have that 4 cab window. Variation C is identical to B except with the sheet metal trailing trucks. That would place that 1955-56. Variation D, white heat stamp numbers, no flag staffs, and revived center rail pickup assembly 1957 through 68. So variation E, same as D except white rubber stamp cab numbers. This locomotive was issued with 3 different tenders throughout production, the 2671WX, 2046W, or the 736W. All the Berkshires Lionel produced were designed to run on standard O-gauge tubular track of the post-war years and will not operate properly on tighter 027 gauge track. So this is one of the few models that Lionel produced of the post-war era that had the 3-digit numbering on the cab. It truly was an O-gauge model. So this would not run on your tighter 027 radiuses. So this truly was considered an O-gauge model. Unlike the 2046 there, it could run, it didn't matter if it was the 646 or the 2046, it would run on 027 radius curves. Okay, next up we have the 681, and as you guys are familiar with the 681, there was also a 671 version, early post-war, the 1946 to 49 version. that I don't have a model of that. I've got several of these 681s. There was actually 4 different versions of this particular model made. This is a model of an S2 steam turbine that was exclusively built for the Pennsylvania Railroad. They were the only ones that ran this particular engine. And the 4 models were the 681, the 671, the 2020, and the 682. The 671 2020 version would be early 1946-49. I don't have that version. There was a lot of different, very unique design changes to that particular model. That's quite interesting. So if you run across those, you might want to do your research on those, because it has to do with the value. But the 681s here were pretty straightforward. The great thing about the 681, it's a 1950 to 51, and then there was produced again also in 53. But these were equipped with magnet traction, smoke unit, and E unit. These also have a Postwar motor like the 736, so this is another Postwar motor version, a steam engine that Lionel produced in the post-war era. It was produced 1950 to 51 and 53, like I said. Came with a 2671W tender. That's this particular tender here, although that's not the correct shell on it. I don't believe. That's how I bought it. You notice it has a 6-wheel trucks. They also made a 2046WX and a 2046W-50 Pennsylvania tender. And I'm wondering if that's this shell just on the 2671 trucks. I don't know if the 2046W-50 is a 6-wheel truck version or not. It'd be something to be interesting to look into. They were streamlined tenders, though, with whistles. They had bar end trucks with magnetic coupler. Has Keystone decal on front with number 6200. There are 2 variations of this model. Variation A has silver rubber stamp cab number, and variation B has white heat stamp cab number. So that has the silver cab numbers, and so I'm going to say this is variation A, the first variation of it, which would probably make this 1950-51 version. That's the candidates I have for this week. So I think the next thing to do is we'll get these in motion. It seems like these S2 turbines are either loved or hated, but you know, I think they're kind of a neat model myself. But I do know there are some people that just really do not like these for some reason. But we're going to get this running around. Well, that's our session for this week, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, you're watching Dale's Rails. Thanks for watching.